Hello, everybody. Keep it going for Matt, guys. It's putting this whole thing together. Very excited. All right, let's dive into it. I got a long embrace from Bobby that night, May 16th, 2010. He was the most affectionate person, but I always liked to push his boundaries. He'd squirm every time that I'd give him a tight hug or slapped his butt, kissed him on the cheek. But in a decade that we were friends, nay, brothers, I'd never been hugged by him like that. The next day, the phone call I got for him was overly complimentary, but I didn't find it odd. So when I found out that he had committed suicide in his car, I refused to believe it. I drove down my 1996 Ford Taurus upwards of 65 miles an hour through the rain in hopes that maybe I could save him and bring him back. By the time I got there, two of my friends were talking to the paramedics and the officers. And then I saw him, wrapped in a green blanket in the back seat of a Nissan Sentra. I still refused to believe that he was gone. He didn't go out in a stereotypical way. He used 2 cellophane bags, a helium tank, duct tape, and waited. He made sure that the paramedics knew exactly how quickly to arrive to ensure that they can use his organs for donation. This was well planned out and executed with precision. My friends and I broke the news to everybody else in our group. We all watched our friends break down in disbelief. I still didn't cry. I sat in my car and screamed. I didn't sleep that night. I just waited for my phone to ring. "I got you, fuckers," he'd say. We'd be pissed, but he would have been alive. But there was no phone call, not even a text message. I racked my head as to why he'd do it. He was such a fun-loving kid, kind person. I was a little bit too obsessed with Batman. Everybody adored him. When I was 17, I decided to record a stand-up comedy album because of youth and delusion. But Bobby was one of the first people that was actually excited to see it, and he sat in the front row of the coffee shop. Anytime a friend was in need, he was always ready to listen, to go for a drive, playing Taking Back Sunday and Brand New as the soundtrack to our angst. So as these unanswered questions kept popping up, I started to get more and more afraid that I'd lose all of my friends. Any small issue, and I'd be there, just like he would be. At this time, I also started dating a girl, and for the sake of it, let's call her Megan. And things were okay. We leaned on each other, we helped each other out, we helped each other cope, and we fell in love pretty quickly. But there was always a little bit of lingering guilt because we got together because of Bobby's death. We would wonder if we were even supposed to be together, or if something would go wrong, would we be letting Bobby down? A few months later, after we started dating, was the first time that I actually broke down and cried about Bobby. We hadn't seen each other in a while, and Megan's parents were going to be away from home, and the basement was all ours. So we turned on the TV for some white noise, and then the makeout session began. Eventually, we didn't have pants on, and for whatever reason, those unanswered questions popped right back up in my head. And that's when I broke down in tears, with no pants, asking, why would he leave? Which, if anybody's wondering, is the least sexy thing you could say to any girl in a moment of intimacy. By the first year, we were all starting to fall apart. During the first year memorial, people didn't want to show up. Some people just were too uncomfortable to be around each other. Some people didn't think it was appropriate. And as the year went on, we drifted further apart. Some were even out to break apart the group by bending facts and secrets. And by the second year, I didn't see anybody from the group. Eventually, Megan and I broke up. We're still friends. You know, we talk from time to time. We're not as close as we used to be, but that's okay for the moment. She gets to keep writing her story, and I'll keep writing mine. I wish I could say that we found a way to be close with each other again, or at least meet up every year on the day of his death, but that's not the case. Each year has been different. Each year we learn to cope. Each year we find more people that you can get closer to that can help you cope. This year I had drinks with one of my very good friends after we watched Batman the Animated Series, which I think Bobby would have liked. I do wish I knew the answer to those unanswered questions. I'm never really going to know, but I have my guesses. Maybe he did it because he was one of the few people who found his purpose and fulfilled it. Maybe he faked his death to become Batman, and I'll find out in another decade, and then I will get to do what every 8-year-old dreams of and hug the shit out of Batman. Maybe because of who he was, he collected as many stories as he could. And that's what this is really about, right? Stories. We all write our own stories, and Bobby will always be a part of mine. And as long as we have those stories, he never really left. Which is still the least sexy thing you could say to a girl in a moment of intimacy. Thank you guys very much.